to Loopy Mabel Vintage Style Crochet. My name is Jane, and in today's video it's going to be a video log on questions that lots of people have asked about me, where I come from, where I live, how I find my inspiration for my crochet, and lots of other questions like that. So thank you for all those people who have asked the questions, and I am now going to try and answer them all for you as best as I can. So hopefully I don't waffle on too long, but it's a little insight into my little corner of my crochet world, and hopefully share it with you guys out there. So first of all, how old am I? I'm 52 years old, and I am married. I've been married for 34 years to my lovely husband John. We have 3 grown-up children. We've got identical twin boys who are now 31, a daughter who is 29, and we've got 3 grandchildren and 4 totally spoilt cats. Utterly spoilt. I'm talking crazily spoilt. And where do I come from? Well, I live in the northeast of England, in a small town not far from Middlesbrough and about 40 miles south of Newcastle. Somebody's asked me, do I have another full-time job apart from crochet? Well, the answer to that is no, I don't anymore. I used to be, for 24 years, I was a customs officer in uniform. And I worked at the airports, and I searched ships, and we used to knock on doors looking for drugs and cigarettes and all things like that. And I absolutely loved that job. I was a proper GI Jane, and I was in there, absolutely loved that job. Loved the confrontation, loved the frontline action, as so to speak, and it was just right up my street. Absolutely loved it. But I had to give that career up, unfortunately, because my lovely husband John, who is 20 years older than me, had a stroke about 15 years ago, and he had to retire, obviously on health grounds, and therefore there was no question about it that I had to stay at home and look after him. So I gave up my job, and I've been looking after him ever since. So we just potter about from day to day, and we just do what John's able to do, and it's absolutely fine. We're really happy, and the beauty is now that I'm obviously at home every day looking after John, but I'm also now able to follow my love of crochet even more than I did when I used to work. So in a way, it's worked out absolutely fine. Where do I get my vintage inspiration from? Well, I've always been, since I was a teenager, interested in vintage, anything old-fashioned, anything from days gone by. I used to love playing with my nana's vintage button tin, all the gorgeous buttons she used to have, and she had these amazing brooches and hat pins, and I just absolutely loved playing with them, and I just loved the history behind them. And from then I found this love for collecting vintage evening bags. I've collected them over the years, and I absolutely love collecting them. I've also got a lovely pair of silk and lace evening gloves, which I absolutely adore. Just looking at them, thinking, what lady used to wear these, and they're so elegant and just remind me of all the old movies of Doris Day, when they all used to wear them with the gorgeous fitted dresses, and I just absolutely love anything like that. I'm not particularly vintage in that sense with my clothes, but I do like to add a vintage touch to what I wear. So I suppose that's where my pattern designing really took shape from. I mean, there's lots of fantastic crochet patterns out there, and some amazing crochet designers. I'm nowhere near in any of those leagues, but what I do know is what I do enjoy, and I like to make things for me, just with that little bit of a vintage flair, vintage touch, just something that you can't buy on the shelf, on a coat hanger in a shop. So from that, I then thought I should then develop what I like and what I'd like to wear into like a crochet pattern. and that's really where the crochet designing came from. And it's just spiraled from there really, and because I've got the luxury of this lovely craft room to myself, I've got all my wool in here. I've got my lovely Mabel, my dressmaker's mannequin, and I've got sewing machines because I also sew. I like to make some of my own clothes. I also can knit and obviously crochet. So, and this is my little sanctuary where I can come in when maybe John's having a sleep through the day, and I can just sit and design or plan my next crochet project. And so I'm quite lucky in that respect. I have wool. I think I've got a wool problem. I have wool in nearly every room of our house. I think the only room that it's not in is the kitchen and the bathroom. It's just in every room. You turn around and there'll be some wool somewhere. In fact, when my grandson comes to visit, he always says, "Grandma, it's like Wool City in here," and it's true. It is like Wool City. But I just love wool. I love the feel of it. I love any new wools that are being brought out. I've got lots to keep me going. This is just a small selection on the shelf here. As I say, it's everywhere, and I'm slowly working through it. So this is my room. This is where I do all my videos from, and this is my office, my computer, and just general day-to-day things where I can just sit quietly, design, crochet, or just plan what I'm going to be making next. So that is, I am quite fortunate in having this room. I know that. I am self-taught at crochet. I taught myself when I was about maybe 15 or 16. My mum taught me to knit, and I took sewing at school. I took dressmaking at school, so I was always interested in crafting at an early age. I just hadn't tried crochet, so I thought I'd give it a go, and because my mum couldn't crochet, I thought I'd teach myself. So I just went to the library, got this tiny little crochet stitch. It was a tiny book. I can still picture this book now. Tiny book with just all the basic crochet stitches in it. I got a crochet hook, I think, off my nana, lent me a crochet hook and some yarn because she was always knitting, and I just literally sat with this book for weeks on end after school and mastered all the stitches, and that was it. I was hooked, totally hooked. I loved crochet, and so I crocheted on and off through college, and then eventually I got married. I got married at 19 to my lovely husband John. I have crocheted from quite a young age, but it's all about practice. When I get a project in my head or something I want to learn or something new, I will just be totally focused on whatever it is I've decided I'm going to do, and I will keep on and on and on until I crack it. Whatever it is, it might not be crochet, it could be anything. So I've always liked vintage, like I say. I collected handbags and old-fashioned brooches, and I just love that vintage feel of scarves and shawls and just things, styles of days gone by. I love watching like Downton Abbey, that lovely programme that was on the TV. I wasn't really watching the actors and the actresses. I was looking at what they were wearing, and like seeing if I could make something similar in crochet, and just basically I just get my inspiration from things like that. I may see somebody wearing something out and about and I think, oh, that's a nice shape, maybe I could crochet something with that shape in mind. I might see a crochet stitch that's quite pretty or quite or an unusual vintage feel to it, and I think, oh, I might add that. So I'll make a note in my design book, I like that stitch and I quite like that shape. And then I might see, I don't know, a colour, somebody wearing like an old-fashioned colour, and I think, oh, that colour would go lovely with what I've got there. And that's basically what I do. I like put them into my designs, sort of start off with a bit of a stitch, maybe with a colour, maybe with a shape, and maybe with an occasion or what part of a garment it would be. So for example, my last video when I did the crochet shoulder snug, I seen a vintage crochet pattern. I think it was 1950s crochet pattern of ladies wearing like capes, but I just like that idea of a fitting around the shoulder, and I just thought, oh, I'll develop it from there. So that's how I get my inspiration, what I do with my ideas, and they all go in my idea like design book, and hopefully from there I can get them from the book into a finished product. But it's not as easy as that, because I think, oh yeah, that's a good idea, yeah, I'll make it into that, and getting it from that, from A to B, doesn't always work. Some things I can make, and from designing it to doing a prototype to getting the finished product and the pattern out, I could do maybe in 4 to 5 days. But other things I have, other things I just like, I know what I want and I've got this idea in my head, but I struggle sometimes to get it from out my head or out my book on the crochet hook to create something that you could wear or use. But I won't be beaten, I'll just put it to one side and then I'll come back to it and maybe start another design and then come back to that, and usually by coming back to it I'm refreshed and I normally get it finished. So that's how I mostly do my crochet patterns. I just got so many ideas in my head and in my design book that I think I'll be banging out patterns forevermore. And it's lovely that people give me lots of lovely feedback, and when you buy the patterns and download them and then you message me to show me pictures of what you've made, that really does inspire me to keep on designing and making things, and hopefully for you lovely people out there who follow me and subscribe to me, that you like what I make. I love your feedback, and if there's anything that you'd like me to make, just please drop me a line and give me some ideas of what you're looking for, and I shall try and maybe add that to my my list of things to make. I do welcome any suggestions at all. You can either message me through YouTube in the comments box below, or you can catch me on Instagram, where I'm always on there. Where does Loopy Mabel, the name, come from? Well, my nana, as I mentioned before, she was called Mabel, and I absolutely loved that name. It's such a vintage, old-fashioned, days gone by name. Absolutely loved it. She's the one that inspired me with all her buttons and her brooches and her hat pins from when I was a little girl. And sadly she's not here with us now, but I have such fond memories of Nana Mabel that I thought, oh, her name would be perfect in my crochet business. And Loopy, well, as in loopy as in yarns and the loops on your crochet hook. And also my daughter says I'm a crazy cat lady because my cats are totally spoilt, and she says, Mum, you're loopy with those cats. So I just thought Loopy as in crazy cat lady, Loopy as in yarn, Mabel, my nana. So that's where Loopy Mabel comes from, and obviously vintage style is because that's what I try to incorporate in my designs. Just something with that old-fashioned, yesterday, days gone by touch to it. I love all the old-fashioned vintage muted colours, greens and browns and greys and old rose. I'm not keen on anything bright or gaudy. It's just not my thing. I would tend to go for all the muted earthy tones. Have I always liked vintage? Well, as I say, yes, I've loved vintage since I was a little girl. Even when I was a teenager, I would have posters on my wall of Sean Connery. All my friends would have posters of Bay City Rollers or Donny Osmond or David Essex, but no, I would have Sean Connery on my wall. I always liked anything that wasn't in my age bracket. My mum used to say to me, Sean Connery's a bit old to have on your bedroom wall. And I go, no, I love him, I think he's great. So yeah, I always liked Sean Connery on my wall. My friends liked the Bay City Rollers or Donny Osmond, but no, me, Sean Connery. So I suppose it was inevitable that I married my husband, who was 20 years older than me. So there you go. Somebody's also asked me, have I got any tips for new crocheters? Well, I think the best tip I would give is practice does make perfect. I always say this on all my videos at the end, practice does make perfect, and it's true. Don't give up, because I used to run Saturday morning workshops with lots of ladies, crochet beginners, and the ladies used to come and they'd say, oh, I don't think we can do it, I can't do it, it's too fiddly, I can't do it. And I used to say, right, don't give up. At the end of this class, end of this workshop, I can guarantee you will leave this workshop with a crochet granny square. And everyone, without fail, all left the class with a crochet granny square. So it was just, you just have to practice, don't give up. The first few rows on crochet are the fiddliest, maybe the hardest, because you've got very little to hold on to. Sometimes the first rows can curl, and then it makes it harder for you to get your hook in because it's all curled. But if you just keep going and practice, and by the time you get to row 3 or 4, the curl will have straightened out and you'll be able to see your work and you'll be able to see your stitches, and then you'll feel more confident and you'll just keep on going. So don't give up, definitely do not give up. It's going to knock your confidence and you probably will never come back to crochet. So don't give up, because at the end of the day it's only wool and a hook. Don't be frightened to take your work out. I still pull my work out if it's not right. I'm a terrible perfectionist. So even if it looks absolutely brilliant and it could be almost complete, my design, my prototype, if there's something in it or that I'm not happy with, I will just pull it out and roll it all up and I'll start again. So don't be frightened to pull your work out and start again. Practice it, practice, practice, and it will come eventually. Somebody's also asked me, would you learn from YouTube or would you learn from patterns? I would say as a newbie to crochet, to run alongside them both, YouTube is absolutely brilliant for visual help and so helpful. So the visual help is amazing. I would also recommend that you follow a pattern, because if you just learn from YouTube only, you will then not learn how to read pattern instructions, and you need to be able to pick up a pattern when you're confident with crochet. Pick up a pattern, know what yarn you're going to need, what size hook you're going to need, and be able to follow that pattern and make the product. You will feel amazing when you complete it, and it will build your confidence for you to then grow and then to take on more technical patterns. We'll definitely use YouTube for your visual help, but also try and follow a pattern too. That there would be my main tips. And don't be frightened to make a mistake, just pull it out and start again. I used to always tell my ladies on my workshops that if you've made a mistake, let's see if we can resolve the mistake, see why you made the mistake, because if you know why you've made the mistake, then you can see it and you can make sure you don't make that mistake again and you've learned from it. Because there's no point in crocheting away, making loads of mistakes, and you don't know why you've made those mistakes. So I would definitely use YouTube for your visual help, your crochet patterns for helping you to read the patterns, and just practice. Definitely practice, and soon, before you know it, you'll be able to make yourself a lovely granny shawl. Everybody learns the granny stitch when they're crocheting, when they're starting out, because it's a really simple stitch, pretty stitch, and one that you can adapt it into making all sorts. You can use it for hats, shawls, bags, items of clothing, scarves, you name it. The granny stitch is so adaptable that you can use it for almost anything, and it is a brilliant stitch to practice with and make your first items with. Why have I gone onto YouTube? Well, as I say, I used to do the workshops and I used to love helping like-minded ladies and men. There was men that came too, like-minded people who wanted to learn to crochet, and I just wanted to share my passion for crochet with them. It was a lovely feeling to be able to teach them, for them to then be able to go off and crochet on their own. And I just thought, why not share what I know, the knowledge that I have into a video, into a YouTube video. So I created my YouTube channel and I never looked back really. I know there's lots of videos out there, but I just wanted to share my flair with other people. So, and thank you to all those people that do subscribe. It really does give me confidence to continue on, and it does inspire me to keep on creating my crochet patterns. I think that's it. I think I've covered all the questions. I do hope you've enjoyed this little video log on me and my little corner of the northeast of England. I will be hopefully bringing out more videos and tutorials and sharing with you my latest designs and things that I've got planned. As I say, if you've got anything you'd like to ask me, anything crochet related, please message me in the box below and I will get back to you and I'll try and help. So thank you so much for watching. As I say at all my videos, practice does make perfect, but please take care, and until the next time, happy crochet!